It's certainly not your average snowman. It's 12 feet tall, attracting a lot of visitors to the South Hill home. We'll tell you the story behind Snowman-geddon.
The theme for February continues with what else? More snow. I'll let you know how much to expect this time around by the time we get to morning.
And the city of Coeur d'Alene moves to end free parking at McEwen Park, and it is not sitting well with a lot of people. An online petition opposing that move now has thousands of signatures, and tonight several of those people took their concerns directly to city leaders.
It's been one of the snowiest Februarys on record for parts of Washington, and our mountain passes have been getting hammered.
Yeah, the National Weather Service put together these time-lapse videos from areas all across the inland Northwest tonight. Another round of snow making for very difficult driving conditions. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Whitney Ward.
And I'm Mark Hanrahan. Hope you enjoyed that one day without any measurable snowfall yesterday, because it's been gradually snowing pretty much all day long here in the inland Northwest, with some areas being hit harder than others.
Idaho State Police have already talked about multiple accidents, asking drivers to take it slow, use extra caution. Also, commercial vehicles being asked to use chains on the Lewiston Hill as well as other hills because of slick conditions, and chains are required right now on Snoqualmie Pass. We'll
check on road conditions in just a moment. First, though, we head straight to meteorologist Thomas Patrick in the Weather Center for more on this snow. Thomas?
Yeah, and this snow is back to that light, powdery, fluffy snow. This time it's not going to accumulate very fast, so compared to the last 2 weeks, definitely not the largest snowfall we've seen, but enough to still create some hazardous driving conditions nonetheless. It looks pretty light. It's not widespread this time around, but as we zoom in on the Spokane area, it looks like just some very light snow showers, some snow flurries. But as you travel south along 195, it gets heavier out towards Rosalia, and Colfax has certainly picked up within the last hour. And this is the area that will see the most snow in the overnight hours, and it is also the area that's under a winter storm warning. So you see Colfax, Moscow, Pullman, even St. Mary's included in the winter storm warning. Coeur d'Alene actually downgraded to a winter weather advisory for tonight. That's also where Spokane sits in terms of the winter weather alerts for the evening and morning hours. So by tomorrow morning, the snow will be wrapping up in Spokane. It's still going to be snowing across the Palouse, and with the snow laying down overnight, we will see a few snowy and icy roads just getting a little bit worse. So just make sure to drive a little slower and give yourself a little extra time for Wednesday morning's commute. But let's check on the roads right now. Let's go to the mobile storm tracker with Casey Decker. Casey, how are things going?
Yeah, Thomas, right now things aren't looking too bad out here. For the most part, it's pretty easy to drive on. I'll go ahead and show you outside the front of the mobile storm tracker right now. And we're driving on I-90 right now, going eastbound through the valley. You can see there is a police car up there. So there are a couple of accidents that I've seen on this road already. So you can see that the roads are pretty clear, but it is a little bit deceptively clear. There are definitely still some sticking points here. Now, one of the other issues, though, is going to be visibility. So obviously traction right now is not too bad, but visibility is a problem because the snow is very light and powdery, and that's causing any wind to whip up that snow and kind of put it in your face. And then obviously also if you get behind any sort of car or truck, those are causing some pretty big snow wakes right now, and you want to make sure you avoid that. That's the highway. Arterials right now looking better than the highway, though there are patches of black ice. Side streets are where you're going to see the most ice, but not that much compared to what you have been seeing in the past. Now, there have been a couple plows out here. You did just see an accident. I saw another one not too long ago, so like I was saying before, it is clear on the roads, but there are still some trouble spots, so making sure you are taking things slowly out here. Live in the mobile storm tracker, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
All right, Casey, thank you. And with all the winter weather lately, we've been seeing a lot of snow melting and then refreezing, and this has created some massive icicles hanging from roofs.
Yeah, so the owner of a local roofing company told us that can actually cause damage if you're not careful. Chipping away at that ice with a shovel or a chisel can actually split your gutters from your roof. And then falling icicles could seriously hurt someone. So if there's no danger of them actually falling, the best bet is really just to leave them alone.
If you really want to remove the ice from your roof, the hardware store employee we spoke with suggests using fertilizer of all things. He says the chemicals in that helps melt the snow. You can also use ice melt tablets. You can just simply toss them up onto your roof near your gutters. At least 2 cities in the inland Northwest are going to start towing snowed-in cars on some plow routes this week. Over the weekend, Sandpoint crews said all vehicles parked on the street will be removed from the snowplow routes at the owner's expense. And starting tonight, police in Coeur d'Alene will start tagging cars surrounded with snow berms. They'll start getting towed on Friday. In Spokane Valley, the city normally does not tow cars, but just plows around them. And in the city of Spokane, the practice is more common, especially in downtown and in Brown's Addition. So heads up there. In the meantime, the city of Spokane considering changes to parking in the downtown core and the University District.
After a recent parking study, outside analysts say updates could reduce demand and make parking easier to find and to use. So some recommendations they came up with include converting 2-hour spaces to 4-hour spaces, as well as increasing parking ticket penalties. So right now the penalty is just $15, but all-day parking at one of those 2-hour meters costs you $13.20. So really there's not much incentive to pay the meter. As a result, they're suggesting increasing parking ticket penalties to $30. Any changes, though, still need to be approved by City Council. And
there is another parking conversation happening in Coeur d'Alene. At the City Council meeting tonight, a lot of comments from the public on a decision the council meeting they made last week at their meeting. So that decision involved a number of changes to parking fees in the city, including requiring a payment at McEwen Park. So Casey Decker was at that meeting tonight and has more.
Inside the meeting tonight here at the Coeur d'Alene Library, there were about 24 members of the public. Several of them were here to voice their opposition to that decision to end free parking at McEwen Park. But their input may be too little, too late. McEwen Park provides hundreds of parking spots at the heart of Coeur d'Alene. Currently, the first 2 hours of parking there are free. But 2 weeks ago, the City Council voted 4-3 to change that and make it $1 per hour. Soon after, a largely negative response from the public. Tyler Lundy created an online petition decrying the decision, now with more than 6,000 signatures.
Having to pay for parking down at a parking garage that is easily accessible to the McEwen Park to Tubbs Hill and stuff, I believe is just unfair.
The city has said the change is necessary for a few reasons. One, the current system requires even free parkers to print receipts for their windshields. People aren't doing that, resulting in lots of tickets. Two, to increase turnover during the busy summer months so tourists don't take up all the spaces all day. But Lundy sees it as a move to milk more money from tourists.
And that was a perfect example of Coeur d'Alene turning into a tourist trap just to take the money from tourists and simply it's a money grab operation.
A number of other CDA residents commented at tonight's meeting.
I really believe that we should still have the 2 hours. That gives us locals time to get up and do what we want to do on the hill and in the park and in the area.
One concerned the new fee could be a barrier to participation in community events.
I feel like it'd drive a lot of people away from Live After 5 to make them pay at McEwen Park.
The testimony, however, doesn't seem likely to have much of an impact right now. The decision has already been made, and it would require a council member changing their mind for anything to happen. Now, unless that petition and tonight's testimony are enough to pressure the City Council into undoing their previous decision, we're told that those new fees are likely going to go into effect in May. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
One of the Northwest's most critically acclaimed glass artists will soon have an exhibit right here in Spokane.
Yeah, Dale Chihuly's Garden and Glass exhibit is opening at Spokane's Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture on Saturday. The Tacoma native is one of 33 artists with glasswork that will be featured in this exhibit called Luminous. You may have seen Chihuly's work at the Seattle Center, and it's pretty extraordinary. Today we caught up with one of the few people allowed to touch the artist's creations.
You know, it's kind of a fun challenge too to, you know, take all the pieces that are on the ground and construct, you know, what is a vision that Chihuly made, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
So one of Chihuly's pieces is an extravagant 5-piece chandelier. Luminous opens at the MAC this Saturday, and that exhibit runs through June 23rd. I would not be comfortable being in charge of putting all of that together. I'd be terrified I'm going to drop something.
I was just thinking, don't let your kids go around that thing.
Oh my gosh, put pillows all around the floor.
Yes, no kidding.
All right, the Spokane Police Department among the first police agencies in the state to start using body cameras.
Yeah, they now have 234 in use daily, and the storage for all that video quickly adds up, and it's not cheap to store it. So coming up, my investigation on the high costs of hard evidence.